I wanted to share this with you. I did a remote view for a woman in Switzerland, and when her and her husband would go on trips away, some really weird things were happening in the house and outside the house. And so she reached out and wanted me to have a look in and find out what's happening with her home. So sure enough, I had a look in, as my gift is a remote view as well. And what was incredible is that what I was able to achieve there for her is that I could see on a completely different dimension. So it was another timeline, pretty much. Well, it was a different timeline, but it took me right back to the World War. I don't know if it was 1 or 2, but it was sort of like in the coal mine stage as well, whereas there were people, souls that were trapped on her property from the past. But the timeline that I put myself in to actually connect with them took me back into that time. And what I was watching is that these were like prisoners of the war. And they literally felt like they were underground, or they were in some form of a shed, or it was just dark. It was really dark. Now, I was talking to her in Switzerland on Zoom. But while I was doing that, I was able to connect myself into that timeline of the past. And all I watched was it all playing out, watching all these beautiful women and children. And there were people that had died and they were sick. And there was just so much pain and suffering in this time. What I found fascinating is while I was walking through, I then got to the end of, it felt like a tunnel, but a shed, if that makes sense. But it was just a dark space, small confined space. And then I felt somebody was just staring straight at me. And when I looked at her, it was actually the woman I was doing the reading for. So I was telling her that part of her soul that she goes out to while she's in her sleep state, she was actually there helping all these people that were suffering. So during the day she was herself, but in the evening she was in this other reality. And I was blown away because I was then having to communicate to both levels of her. And so this was her past, this was her present. And so I was relaying what her past self was helping with all these beautiful souls that was stuck in this reality and hadn't been able to move on. And so what I said to her, I said, what we're going to do, we're actually going to help these beautiful souls that are stuck in this timeline of history, of the past. And I said, what I'm going to get you to do with your present self, I'm wishing you to focus on your past self and the history. And what was really amazing, when I got her to tune in, she felt she could connect with this part of herself. It was stunning. It was absolutely stunning. And so I talked her through it, and what I did is that I created this beautiful bubble of light for all these beautiful souls, and they trusted me and they followed and they came with me. And it was like I created them like a conveyor belt that just went up into the light. And it's something that is imprinted in me, because I thought there could be at least 20 people, but there were thousands in the end, because the more I guided through, the more that were coming and were walking with one another and helping one another. And my friend, the woman I was working with, what she did, she was helping them get to me, and then we were just gradually helping them through. And when they transitioned, you could feel their energy of the acknowledgement of, this is where I'm meant to be now. And it was a stunning experience. It was completely mind-blowing, because while we were doing this, she could feel herself helping me, and she could feel that she could relate and see what I was creating for them. And I said to her, you're not going to believe this. This is not just a few people. This is actually a village of people that suffered in the war, and they were left behind in this timeline. And because she had shifted herself in her own reality, and she also has been listening to my videos, she reached out and booked a session with me and wanted to know what was happening with her house. So it's because I then connected in that this is what I saw, because when they went away, her sink filled up with water without the plug, and the neighbour wanted to come into the property, but the automatic gates wouldn't work. And when they did get an electrician in, and they did come back, the gates worked perfectly. So there was all sorts of synchronicities that were showing to her that she needed just some help. So to actually have the honor to tap into this timeline of the past in history to help all these beautiful souls was just incredible. And from there, we ushered them all through. And then by the time we cleared that, I then looked at her and I thanked her. I thanked her so much, and I gave her a hug. And then I gave her the healing while I was talking to her future, her present self. And while I was healing her, her present self could feel the healing that I was projecting to her. So that was stunning, absolutely stunning. And from there on in, I then got her past self to merge in with her present self. And when I did that, she felt a pure sense of relief, calm, and yes, she couldn't get over the difference. And you could see she was just literally glowing, absolutely glowing. And yeah, so there's some amazing different concepts of how we are able to heal other people out there, and other souls and other timelines and history. So all those souls that we had helped move on, it was just by watching them walk through, it was like they shifted and then they blended in to their future selves, and it was like a home, a complete home feeling that they received. So this is stunning. So never give up. Honestly, never give up, because there are so many aspects of ourselves getting healed on so many levels, and you just don't know who is putting their hand out to help others, because in that it's actually going in a roll-off effect and helping another soul and another soul, because we are multi-dimensional beings resonating on frequencies here on earth. But we all are resonating on different frequencies, but of different timelines as well. But when one soul can be healed, it can actually go out to the collective. So just keep sending love out, because it's going out further than you actually realize. Because when we can bring more harmony out there, so many more souls get healed as well. So I thank you for the work that you're doing, and keep going, because we've got this. And no matter what the storm in New Zealand is going on, you can hold the line and just keep sending love out to New Zealand to see us through this and crazy time. So thank you. I love you. Hit the like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.